and welcome to this live session on complex arrangements for reasoning ability brought to you by TalentSprint. So at the outset, I would like to understand about how's your preparation for all these upcoming exams on POs, clerks and RRPs by IBPS. I'm sure all of you have applied for all these exams or some of these 3 exams and your preparation is in full swing. But if you can quickly update me on as to how's your preparation, we can take the discussion forward from there. Yeah, I see a lot of you in the chat here. Vikram Reddy, Shubhendu, Manish Kumar, Abhijit, Vaishnavi. So good evening guys. Welcome to this session on complex arrangements, which is a nightmare for most of the students. But today we'll discuss a very important technique that can help you solve these questions in a jiffy, right? So it's not always about solving the question. I've as such mentioned this a number of times in my earlier live sessions. All those who have been regular participants would know the whole idea of how to crack complex arrangements, but we will try and understand that again in detail through some arrangement questions that we have chosen. Vikram Reddy says it's good, but there's a little problem with complex calculations. So I'm sure Vikram, you are acting on that and trying to improve your calculation ability, right? The only thing that I can suggest you is to work on your calculations. Manish Kumar says time problem with arrangement. So that's what we'll look at today, Manish, don't worry. How about others? How's the preparation? I see a lot of you present in the chat. Okay, Meghna has posted a query and she says, I need one small information. Please help me getting its answer. In IBPS PO online exam screen, where is the option button located which directs us to view the whole question paper? Well, Meghna, I'm sure you know a lot about the IBPS exam interface, right? Or at least something about the exam interface. So if you actually take the mock exams presented by TalentSprint, you'll get to know the exact replica of, or you'll get to see the exact replica of the actual exam interface, right? However, to your question as to where the option is to view the full paper, there is a question palette on the right hand side, right, which has got all these buttons which would reflect different colors based on your responses to the questions, right? Below the question palette, there are 4 buttons, right? One says view your profile, one says submit, then there's one button which says view question paper. Now that is where that is what you can use to see the full paper in one shot. Alright, so when you just click that button, you'll get to run through the paper. You'll not be able to answer the questions there, right? Remember, for answering the questions you'll have to come back to the original format, but if you want to quickly run through the whole section, you can use that button. Okay. Then Krupani says trying to improve my preparation. We have Azhar who says good, the preparation is good, but in math I can't solve it online so fast. Praveen says the Manipal Bank of Baroda exams on 25th, so preparation for that is going on, which is no way different from any other bank examination. So all the very best for your exam, guys, all those who have applied for the Bank of Baroda exam. Look at Vikram Reddy. Vikram Reddy says, is there a view option available in the actual exams? Yes, Vikram Reddy, there is a option in the actual exams where you can see the full paper. At least until last year it was there. I don't know if they are going to change it this year or not. Right. So I think overall I get a sense that the preparation is going good. Some of you know your weaker areas, like some of you have mentioned that I'm poor in calculation. Some says it's taking a lot of time to complete arrangements. So the good part is that you are weaker in those areas, and I'm sure you will act upon it and get fully prepared and ready for these exams, which are scheduled to start from 16th of October, right? Also, for your information, the IBPS RRB notification was released a couple of weeks back. I'm sure all of you have gone through that, and if you are interested, please complete the registration for the same at the earliest. Okay. Now, what are we going to do in the session? Solve a few questions based on complex arrangements. By few, I mean maybe 1 or 2 questions, right? One set, right? You know that complex arrangements is usually asked in sets of 5 questions. It is a common data question where some data is given to you followed by 5 questions. Based on this data, you need to complete the arrangement, right? It can be a circular arrangement or a linear one. And then answer the 5 questions asked. Now answering these 5 questions doesn't take any time at all. I mean, I would say in less than 20 seconds you'll be able to answer all the 5 questions, because it's just about looking at the arrangement and marking the answer. There's nothing that you have to do, right? It's just a clerical job. But what actually consumes a lot of time is getting that arrangement done, right? Be it linear or circular. Now, there are different types of arrangements within linear and circular, right? Like for example, simple linear arrangements, complex linear arrangement. Then we have simple circular arrangements and complex circular arrangements. So what is the difference? See, between linear and circular, you know, the clear difference is that in linear, we have to arrange persons in a straight line or in a row. But in case of circular arrangements, the persons have to be arranged around a circle, right? Now, when does it get complex? It gets complex when you have to arrange not only the persons, but also, you know, find out some parameter associated with these guys. Like for example, arrange 8 guys who are sitting around a circular table facing the center, and also find out the favorite color of each one of them, or find out which company they work for, or find out the department for which they work for, or find out the country to which they belong, right? And things like that. Similarly, in linear arrangement, he can say there are 8 persons who stay in a building, 8-floor building, starting from floor number 1 to floor 8, and each one likes a different fruit or a different sport or has a different car. So you have to arrange these persons first and find out whatever item has been mentioned there associated with them. Okay, it can get really very complex when there are multiple parameters, right? Usually we have 2 parameters, meaning the persons have to be arranged with one of the items, but sometimes we'll have to do 2 or more than 2 items as well. So as the number of items increase, it gets more and more complex. Now, ideally, one should not attempt such questions in the exam, right? I'm repeating myself, you are not supposed to attempt these questions in the exam, and that's a wise choice, right? Remember, you very well know that you're not there to answer all the 100 questions. You have to make sure that you answer maximum number of questions in that limited time given to you. Now, for you to be able to answer maximum number of questions, you have to choose your questions very wisely. Choose easier ones, right? Choose those questions which can be solved in less than a minute, right? Avoid getting into these, traps which have been laid there. And complex arrangements is actually a well-planned trap to, get you arrested there, right? You end up wasting a lot of time, and then you realize that this is not something which I should solve. Okay, so ideally what a person should do is look at a complex arrangement question and skip and go to the next one, right? I mean, when I say skip, don't skip it permanently. I mean, the idea is skip it for that time, right? You can probably mark it for review. You know that there's an option called mark for review in the exam. So mark it for review, solve the remaining questions, independent ones, like questions from syllogisms, questions from, let's say, coding and decoding, questions from coded inequalities, mathematical operations, blood relations, directions, etc., right? Solve these questions where there is a definite method to arrive at the answer, right? Complex arrangements, or whether linear or circular, have got no definite method. There's just an approach that you should know the direction sense, what happens when a person is facing center, what happens when a person is facing outwards, etc., or what happens when persons are facing north, what happens when persons are facing south. So direction would change, right? Like for example, when persons are all facing center, left is clockwise, right is anti-clockwise. When persons are facing outwards, left would be anti-clockwise and right is clockwise. In case of linear arrangements, when the persons are facing north, left should be taken towards our left on paper and right on our right. But when they're facing south, left should be taken towards right and right has to be taken towards left. Sorry. So if you're thorough with these points related to directions and the different types of statements, you can attempt a complex arrangement question or a simple arrangement question. But we'll be able to complete it or not depends on the complexity, right? It all depends. The biggest problem here is you'll get lots of possibilities for the given information there, and you'll have to try out each one, and only towards the end you'll figure out that okay, out of the 4 these 3 are wrong, or out of the 8 possibilities these 7 are wrong, or out of the 2 possibilities this one is wrong, right? And if you miss any statement anywhere, you may not be able to complete it, right? So keeping all these points in mind, and see, even if you complete it, if you're really smart and even if you complete it, what do? You end up spending about 7-8 minutes for completing a complex arrangement, and you get what, 5 marks, Usually it is a 5 marks question, right? Sometimes they also ask 7 or 8 questions, so it becomes 7 or 8 marks of, it carries 7 or 8 marks of weightage there, but usually it is a 5 marks question. So even if you complete one complex arrangement in, let's say, 7-8 minutes, you'll get only 5 marks, which in my view is not a wise choice at all, right? So play it safe, right? Do not attempt this in the exam. Like I've also mentioned this in the past, like they say, you know, when they are doing difficult stunts on TV, right, on reality shows, they run a scroll, right? Please do not try this at home. So let me tell you, though we'll attempt some complex arrangements here, I would strongly recommend you not to try this in the exam, okay? Do practice, it really helps, it widens your reasoning, it you know, makes you stronger, but please do not attempt this in the exam, all right? Those who still have not been able to understand why we should not attempt this in the exam, let us solve the question and you'll get to know, okay? I know a lot of you will also mention that there are more of complex arrangements in the exams these days. Out of 35 questions asked, 25 are from complex arrangements. So are you trying to say that you have to skip all these 25? No, I did not say that you have to skip these 25 questions permanently. What I have told you was solve the other questions first, and if time permits, come back. So out of 35, like it happened in a recent exam, I think SBI PO mains exam, out of the 35, no, not SBI PO mains, out of in SBI PO preliminary exam, out of 35 questions in reasoning ability, 25 were from arrangements. Now again, everyone like, what? Should we skip all these 25 questions? Well, you first solve the remaining 10, right? If you are able to, you know, answer those 10 questions accurately, you'll get 10 marks, no doubt about it. And if you get 10 marks, you would have cleared the cutoff. Because understand, paper is complex if it is really complex, not only for you, but for all the students who are taking the exam. And let me tell you, the cutoff in that particular section was 8 or 7.5 marks for a general category student. So the point I'm trying to make is, even if you had skipped all the 25 questions, which I had never suggested, but even if you had skipped all the 25 questions, assuming that everything is complex, you would have got 10 marks. And answering these other 10 questions, which were from coded inequalities, blood relations and directions, would not take more than 6-7 minutes, right? Each question would take less than a minute. So around 6 to 7 minutes and you back 10 marks. You would have done with the reasoning section, right? And instead of spending your time in these complex ones, where there is no assurity about the answer, you rather spend that time on other sections, quantitative aptitude and English language, right? So it actually works if you use it properly, okay? If at all you want to do, first solve the remaining 10 questions, then choose the one which appears to be easy out of the remaining 25, right? I mean, remaining 25 meaning there are 5 sets. Out of those 5 sets, maybe choose one. Choose the one which you feel that would be easy, right? Again, you may get trapped there also, but you have to make a choice, you know, there impromptu and just go ahead with that. So just freeze this in your mind. I mean, the problem is it's hard to follow. You know, it looks like, okay, we will do it, but in the exam you actually feel like, let me solve it, let me try out, maybe I'll get 5 marks. The you know, the carrot here is it carries 5 marks. So we feel like, let me try. If I'm able to crack it in 3 minutes, I'll get 5 marks, right? If I do it in, let's say, 4 minutes, I'll get 5 marks. But remember, there is an if in the statement. If I get it in 4 minutes, or if I'm able to complete it in 5 minutes, I'll get 5 marks. That if is a big question mark. So don't take chances in the exam, at least in these type of questions, and just move to the next question. All right. So solve the easier one first, and then time permits, come back. Time usually never permits. So indirectly, I'm actually asking you to skip it, but you know, officially, if time permits, come back. So let us quickly try one. I'll share the screen with all of you. I have got a couple of questions on arrangements. I think both the questions that we have for today are on linear arrangements only. We'll take up some complex circular arrangements in some other session. Let us see how many of you are able to crack this. So I'll present the question to all of you, right? Sharing my screen now. I'll give you enough time to try it out. So here's the first one. Do you all see that? Now I know that the font is not really big there, but the question size is big, so can't help it. Try it out. Here we go. Now look at what it says. 10 persons are sitting in 12 seats in 2 parallel rows containing 5 people each, in such a way that there is equal distance between adjacent persons. In row 1, A, B, C, D and E are seated and all of them are facing south. And in row 2, P, Q, R, S and T are seated and all of them are facing north. One seat is vacant in each row. Alright, so total 12 seats but only 10 persons. And now it's clear that one seat is vacant in each row. Alright. Therefore, in the given seating arrangement, each member seated in a row faces another member of the other row. Now, all of them like a different color: red, green, pink, blue, purple, purple, white, black, grey, violet and yellow, but not necessarily in the same order. So overall the idea is about arranging 10 persons in two parallel rows, right, with each row having 6 seats. Obviously, one seat in each row would remain vacant. And not only arrange the persons but also find out who likes which color. And there are 10 colors given here. And 16 points of data. S sits third to the right of R and likes blue color. Only 2 people sit between Q and vacant seat. Q does not like purple and pink color, and so on. So with the help of these 16 points, you're supposed to complete it. I'll give you, let's say, about 12 minutes to try this out. Although you're not supposed to spend 12 minutes, but I want all of you to seriously try it out and complete it yourself. See, there's no point in me solving it for you. You should do it yourself. Only then it makes sense. Okay? So try it out. 12 minutes is what you have. And I'm sure if you follow the right approach, you will be able to complete it. Alright? Ashutosh and Anusha have mentioned that the question is not visible. Guys, you have to, go to the full screen option so that it makes out for the smaller font here. And I've also tried and increased the font to the maximum possible value. Cannot increase beyond this. Manish had mentioned how to identify which arrangement should we attempt first. So Manish, I think that you would understand only with practice, right? I mean, as you keep practicing, you would get some sense about how complex a question can be just by throwing a glance at it. So there's no shortcut for that. All you need to do is practice more and more. So I hope all of you are trying it out. All those who find it still difficult to read the question, please adjust the picture quality at your end. There is a settings button on the bottom right of the screen using which you can increase the resolution, and that will help get a better clarity. Nitish says not reasonable for the exam. There should be at least 10 questions with it. But I think there have been only 5 questions with this one, and we have no choice but to solve it. Bhuvaneshwari has asked an interesting question, right? In circular arrangement, from where should we start? Bhuvaneshwari, if you had gone through the video of circular arrangements that we have, you would know that circular arrangements are actually easier compared to the linear ones. Why? Because in circular arrangements, you can start from wherever you want. There is no first or second position. You can start from any point of the circle. Right? Remember, start from any point of the circle. In linear arrangement, it's not possible. You must know the exact position of the person in linear arrangement for him to be placed. But in circular arrangement, the first person can be placed anywhere. Because there is no first or second seat in circular arrangement, right? There is nothing like first position, second position, third position in circular arrangements. But in case of linear arrangement, there is a definite first position, second position and so on. So that's the difference. Please do not sit quiet or idle there. No comments makes me assume that you are all trying it out seriously, right? Do not wait for me to respond. I'm sure you'll feel really happy if you do it yourself. And that's what is to be done, right? Yeah, Vaibhav has mentioned that he's solving it. So thanks for acknowledging that, Vaibhav. Pragyam has also mentioned that he's solving. So I'll keep quiet for some time. I'll let you all focus and get going with this. Okay? Krishna, I know that you have to skip it in the exam, but you should not be skipping it when you're practicing, right? So try it out now, right? I know you'll skip it. And I know that all of us would skip it. But now you have to try it. Alright, so I think most of you have done and you want me to give you the explanation. All those who have finished it are getting a little impatient, I guess. Anyway, the whole idea was to make most of you solve it. And I see that Thiru, Mini, Nitish, Kanha, Beena, Shri, Vikram Reddy, Pallavi, Sandy, Shrikant, all have done. So time now to discuss this. Let me quickly get some space for me to work on the solution here. I'll have to go back to that reduced font size. Now I'm actually glad to see that most of you have cracked it, but what you need to actually sit back and analyze that, is it worth solving it in the exam or not? I know all of you have already made up your mind that you would skip such questions in the exam, but those who all are still wondering as to why should we skip these questions? Why can't we try it out? Why do you think we cannot solve it? The answer lies in the solution. You have got the right answer, but it has taken you about 8 to 10 minutes to arrive at that. So you cannot be spending that much of time. Let's look at the solution now. So see what it says. 10 persons are sitting in 12 seats in 2 parallel rows containing 5 people each, in such a way that there is an equal distance between adjacent persons. In row 1, A, B, C, D and E are seated and all of them are facing south. And in row 2, P, Q, R, S and T are sitting and all of them are facing north. One seat is vacant in each row. Therefore, in the given seating arrangement, each member seated in a row faces another member of the other row. And then all of them like a different color among red, green, pink, blue, purple, white, black, grey, violet and yellow, but not in the same order. So overall, if you see, there are 10 persons who are sitting in 12 seats in 2 parallel rows. Now the first question that pops up in your mind is, how can 10 persons occupy 12 seats? But as you continue reading, you will find that one seat is vacant in each row. So that makes up for the other 2 seats. Alright. So 10 persons with 2 vacant seats. So overall 12 seats have to be properly arranged in 2 parallel rows. Now in row 1 he says A, B, C, D and E are seated and all of them are facing south. And in row 2 we have P, Q, R, S, T and all of them are facing north. Now this facing south and north plays a key role here. Alright. Why? Because in case of linear arrangements, what happens when a person is facing north, right? When a person is facing north, left of that person should be taken towards our left on paper and right should be taken towards our right. But when a person is facing south, right? When a person is facing south, his left is towards our right and right should be taken towards our left. So you must have this clarity so that you can proceed with the solution. Alright. So clearly you know that there will be 6 seats in each row and one seat or every seat of one row is opposite to the seat in the other row. And there are 10 colors given to us. So let's start working on it now, right? Remember, north, when persons are facing north, left is left, right is right. When they're facing south, left should be taken towards right and right has to be taken towards left. Now what I would do is clear this part here because I already have very limited space. For me, more than the question what is complex is very little space here. So I'll clear whatever I have mentioned and start working on it. Now, first of all, understand who are all seated in row 1. This is very, very important. In row 1, we have A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. And all of them are facing south, right? All these guys are facing south, right? They're all facing south. And in row 2, in the other row, we have P, Q, R, S, T. P, Q, R, S, T, of course, a vacant seat. All of these guys are facing north. Right? All of these guys are facing north. Okay. Now, very important question that could have arisen in some of your brains is that how do we know that row 1 is on top and row 2 is at the bottom? Why can't we interchange? Why can't we swap these two? So let us see what happens if we swap. Let's say row 2, or meaning row 2 is here and row 1 is here. I mean, in general, row 1 should be on top, then comes row 2. But if you get this thought that why can't row 2 be on top and row 1 at the bottom, let me tell you why it's not possible. We will have P, Q, R, S, T here because clearly in row 2, P, Q, R, S, T are seated. And in row 1, we have A, B, C, D, E. P, Q, R, S, T are facing north, right? And A, B, C, D, E are facing south. Now, the problem in this case 2 here is, if at all you arrange the persons in this way, you will find that they are not facing each other. You getting it? See, A is facing south, P is facing north. So are they seated opposite to each other? See, their positions are opposite, but then they are not facing each other. Remember this point which said, therefore, in the given seating arrangement, each member seated in a row faces another member. Here they are not facing each other, right? Their backs are towards each other, but not the faces. In this case, what happens, since A is facing south, he is looking in this direction. P is facing north, he looks in that direction. And clearly you find that they are facing each other. Alright. So the point is, row 1 should be on top and row 2 has to be in the bottom. Now, let us start working on the points. Alright. I'll just write that down, A, B, C, D, E in the first row, because this is important. You should not forget this. And row 2 will be P, Q, R, S, T. P, Q, R, S, T. Row 1 guys are facing south, right? And row 2 is facing north. Now, read the points. The first point, S sits third to the right of R and likes blue color. Now, that's some information, right? S sits third to the right of R. S sits third to the right of R and likes blue color. Now, both S and R are seated in the second row and the people in second row are facing north, right? So, S sits third to the right of R. What will be the right of R? Since R belongs to second row where persons are facing north, right of R will be towards our right. So, S sits third to the right of R. How would you put it? S sits third to the right of R. Let's say this is R here, right? First, second, third. S would sit here, right? S sits third to the right of R. So, third to the right of R. Remember, R is facing north. So, right should be towards our right. So, first, second and third. S sits third to the right of R. And likes blue color. You know that again from the basics of arrangements, you would know that whenever we use the word and in a statement, it refers to the first person, right? So, who likes blue color? R or S? It is S, right? S likes blue color, right? S sits third to the right of R and likes blue color. So, we can say S likes blue color here. I would like to put it here. S likes blue color. Next. Now, once you have put this first point, one thought should come to you, that out of 6 seats which have to be arranged, we have already got 4 seats here. Of course, the 2 seats in the middle are still vacant. We'll get the right persons there, but then 4 points have been marked. Now, where are the other 2 seats? There are multiple possibilities. There are 3 possibilities if you understand. The other 2 seats can be on the left of R, both on this side. This is one case, right? Or both the seats can be on the right of S, right? This is other case, second case. Or it is possible that one seat is on the right of S and one seat is on the left of R. Are you able to follow? We have already got 4 seats in the arrangement there. Where are the other 2 seats? You know that in each row there are 2 seats, 6 seats. So where will the other 2 seats come? What are the possibilities? Both on the left of R, both on the right of S, or one on the left and the other on the right. And that in my view is the most important point to be understood. Once you have got it, once you have learned where are the other 2 seats, it becomes very, very easy. Because like I said, the challenge in linear arrangements is you cannot start from wherever you want. I cannot say that R is the first person and S is the fourth person here. I don't know. R can be the first person, R can be third person, or R can be second person. All 3 are possible depending on those 3 cases. So that is the reason it is very, very important for us to establish where the other 2 seats would come, which we'll get to know once we read the remaining points. Now, read the next point. Only 2 people sit between Q and the vacant seat. Now, only 2 people sit between Q and vacant seat. You know that Q belongs to the second row. Where exactly it would come is not very clear. Q can come here, or again, depending on the other 2 seats, Q can come anywhere. So we have no clue as to where would Q come. But one point that can be noted here is there are 2 people between Q and vacant seat. So if it is Q here, we'll have dash dash and then vacant seat. Let's mark vacant seat as X. So Q dash dash X. Again, these are interchangeable. It can be Q dash dash X or X dash dash Q. Both are possible because it did not say that Q is on the left and vacant seat is on the right. It simply said only 2 people sit between Q and vacant seat. So we have to ensure that this point, the pictorial representation that we have done, is adjusted in the arrangement, whatever arrangement we are doing here. Read the next point. Q does not like purple or pink color. Now this in my view is not very useful immediately, right? Q does not like purple or pink color. So there are other 8 colors available. We cannot do anything about it. So immediately or at this moment, point number 3 is not very useful. Let's just go forward. E is not an immediate neighbor of C. Now you know that both E and C would come in row 1. And one more thing is, because these 4 seats have been put here, we know that there will be 4 seats in the row 1 as well, because each seat will be opposite to the other seat of the other row. Now read the next point. E is not an immediate neighbor of C. Both E and C will come in this row, but E is not an immediate neighbor of C doesn't really help. There can be multiple possibilities. So that again we'll keep pending. Move to the next statement. B likes yellow color. B likes yellow color. Now this is some information. We can say B likes yellow color, but where exactly is B seated is not known to us. Then it says the one who likes pink color faces the one who likes grey color. This again is not useful immediately because neither pink color nor grey color has been used so far. If any one of them has been planted already, we can mark the other one as well. But none has been done so far. So the one who likes pink color faces the one who likes grey color. We'll use it later. Next statement. The one who likes pink color sits opposite to the one who sits third right of the one who sits opposite to S. Now point number 6 in my view is very, very interesting. A little complex, but this should help you because see, it is talking about the one who likes pink color and the person S. Now why is point number 6 important? Because we have already marked S. So this can be helpful, right? Because one person is already available in the arrangement that we have done so far. This point can help us. So read it carefully. The one who likes pink color sits opposite to the one who sits third right of the one who sits opposite to S. Now, the best way to understand this is to go in the reverse direction. Try to find out who is this person first of all. Who sits opposite to S? Who sits opposite to S? This dot. We don't know who the person is, but this person sits opposite to S. Now, you can actually, strike it off and put this dot here because we know that the one who sits opposite to S is this dot. Now look at the statement again. The one who likes pink color sits opposite to the one who sits third right of this dot. Third right of this dot. You getting it? It's like that blood relations question, right? A complex statement is given to you describing the relationship between two persons. So what do? We break that complex relation into multiple parts, simplify each part and then try to connect the two persons. So that's what we are trying to do here. We are trying to connect the person who likes pink color with S with the help of all these smaller parts, right? So the one who likes pink color sits opposite to the one who sits third right of this dot. The third right of this dot. What will be the third right of this dot? Remember, the dot here is in row 1 and the persons in row 1 are facing south. When persons face south, right should be taken towards our left. So third right of this dot, right? Third right of this dot. First, second, third. Third right of this dot is this line. I mean, this is only for explanation. Otherwise, you could have completed that point 10 times so far, right? So who sits third to the right of dot is this line. So I'll again eliminate this part and say this line here. You getting it? Third to the right of this dot. Now read the statement again. The one who likes pink color sits opposite to this line. The one who likes pink color sits opposite to, what is opposite to this line? R. Who is opposite to this line? R. And it says R likes pink color. Or the one who likes pink color sits opposite to this line. So point number 6 has been used. You're able to follow? We can now clear this dot and the line there. Then point 7, C is not an immediate neighbor of D. Not useful because C and D have not been marked yet. T, who likes neither purple nor white color, does not face the vacant seat. Now you know that T would come in row 2, but since we do not have the vacant seat or anything available about T, it's not useful immediately. Alright. Point number 9, neither S nor R sits at an extreme end. Neither S nor R sit at an extreme end. Right? Neither S nor R sits at an extreme end. Now this brings a lot of clarity in the arrangement. What does it say? Neither S nor R at the extreme ends. See, S is not at the extreme end. If S is not the extreme end, obviously there is one seat after S here. R also is not at the extreme end. So obviously there is one seat before R here. And that clears our confusion as to where those two seats are. Remember earlier we had discussed where are the other two seats. Both can be before R, both can be after S, or one on either sides. Now point number 9 makes it clear that seats are on the either sides of R and S. So now this completes the row 2, the seating of row 2. Now I can say that R is in the second seat of row 2, S is in the fifth seat of row 2. Are you able to follow? This is seat number 1, seat number 2, seat 3, seat 4, seat 5, seat 6. So R is in the second seat of row 2. Now it's very clear. And because one seat is on the either sides here in row 2, same will happen in row 1 as well. So this is the arrangement. So now we know the definite position of R and S from this point. Read the next point. D faces R. D faces R. So D would come here. Alright. Now continue reading. Vacant seats are not opposite each other. So remember, vacant seats are not opposite each other. Not useful at this point of time. Two persons sit between C and B. Who sits third to the right of the one who likes black color? Now this again is useful, I guess. Try to understand this point number 11. We will not be marking it directly in the arrangement. Let us pictorially represent point number 11 first. It says two persons sit between C and B. Now two persons sit between C and B. What are the possibilities? There are two possibilities. We can say C dash dash B or B dash dash C. Yes or no? It said two persons sit between C and B. So the two are possible, right? In both the cases you find that there are two persons between C and B. Now read the remaining part of the statement. Who here refers to the preceding person, right? Who refers to the preceding person. So B sits third to the right of the one who likes black color. B sits third to the right of the one who likes black color. Remember, C and B are going to be in the top row in row 1 and people in row 1 are facing south. So right here means towards our left. Now try to mark this point. It says B sits third to the right of the one who likes black color. So there are two possible cases, case 1 and case 2, right? B sits third to the right of the one who likes black color. Now if B sits third to the right of the one who likes black color, what happens? The person who likes black color will be third to the left of B. You're able to follow? In a given arrangement, if I am towards your right, you are towards my left. So B sits third to the right of black color, let's say. B is third to the right of black. If B is third to the right of black, black will be third to the left of B. Third to the left of B. Now according to case 1, third to the left of B. What is left of B? Left of B will be towards our right. Left of B will be towards our right because B is facing south. So black will be third to the left of B. First, second, third. This person would like black color. But do you find anything wrong here? Yes. What is wrong? If you see this, case 1, how many seats have we got in that row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is not possible. So this is wrong. Try to adjust that remaining part of the statement in the second statement. What did we know? B sits third to the right of black. So black sits third to the left of B. Third to the left of B. What is left of B? Left of B is towards our right. So black is third to the left of B. First, second, third. Black comes here. So from point number 11, it is very clear that the arrangement of B and C will be as follows. B dash dash C and C likes black color. So I would clear this first case here and just pictorially note this one, right? What does it say? B dash dash C, right? B dash dash C and C likes black color. Of course, B and C will be in the top row, remember. So C likes black color. We'll use it. This point we'll use. Right, it has to be adjusted here. Next one, the one who likes violet color faces the one who likes blue color. The one who likes violet color faces the one who likes blue color. Now since we already have blue color here, we can mark violet color. So I'll put violet color here. Right, violet color guy faces the blue color guy. I mean the one who likes violet color faces the one who likes blue color. This point is done. So point number 12 is done. Next point, the person who likes red and grey color are adjacent to each other. The person who likes red and grey color are adjacent to each other. So that again is not useful immediately. We'll use that later. Vacant seat of row 1 is not an immediate neighbor of D. Vacant seat of row 1 is not an immediate neighbor of D. So in row 1, see this is row 1. Vacant seat of row 1 is not an immediate neighbor of D. So vacant seat cannot come in these two positions. It's not an immediate neighbor of D. So there are two possibilities. If you see, there are two possibilities. Vacant seat can either come here in this position, right? Or it can come here. Because see this person, I mean we know that the person who sits here likes violet color. If the seat is vacant, see vacant seat will not like violet color, right? So there are only two choices. Vacant seat either comes here or here. So at this point you can probably duplicate this and take the two cases. Are you able to follow? There are two possibilities. Vacant seat either comes here or it comes here. You're getting me? So let us do that. See what happens. Are you able to follow? So what I'll do is first duplicate whatever we have done so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. R is in the second seat. S is in the fifth seat. R likes pink color. S likes blue color. Then we have D here. And we know that this person likes violet color. Now from this next point we know that the person who likes or vacant seat of row 1 is not an immediate neighbor of D. Vacant seat of row 1 is not an immediate neighbor of D. Let's take vacant seat in this position. It is not an immediate neighbor of D, so it cannot come in these two places. It cannot come here as well. So either vacant seats come here or the second case, let us take it here. You get it? So these are the two cases that we are going to work on. Alright? X is the vacant seat. X is the vacant seat. Now, Look at this point. Q sits at one of the extreme ends. Where will Q come? Q will come in the row 2. Now Q sits at one of the extreme ends. So either Q comes here in this position or after S. Here again, before R or after S. So how do you decide that? Again, if you try to take in both the cases, in this case if you take Q here, you should actually duplicate and take Q in the other case here. I mean, you're able to follow. We have already got two cases, two possibilities. Again, the next statement says Q sits at one of the extreme ends. So if you take Q here, I mean, in this arrangement, Q can either come before R or after S. Again, in this arrangement, Q can either come before R or after S. So it will give us 4 cases again, which in my view is not a good idea, right? Maximum 2 cases, you should try and complete it. Do we have anything already that we have done with respect to Q? Anything that we have done with respect to Q? Yeah, I think this representation. You see this box here? Which point was this? The second point. Only 2 people sit between Q and the vacant seat. So let us try to combine these two. Now point number 2 and point number 15. We'll try and combine point number 2 and point number 15. What do we know from point 2? There are 2 people between Q and X. X is the vacant seat here. And point number 15 says Q is at one of the extreme ends. Q is at one of the extreme ends. Now understand, let us take Q at this extreme end. So if you take Q here, what happens? Q dash dash X. But somewhere we had read that both the vacant seats cannot face each other. Remember? Point number 10. Vacant seats are not opposite each other. So clearly, according to case number 1, let me say this is case 1 and this is case 2. I mean, I'll write it elsewhere, right? Let's say this is case 1 and this is case 2. According to case 1, you cannot take Q here, because if you take Q in this position, dash dash X, both the X's cannot be opposite, right? So Q has to come here. Then dash dash X, vacant seat comes here, right? Look at case 2, what happens? Q dash dash X is possible. Q dash dash X is also possible. That means there are 2 possibilities according to case 2 here. You're able to follow. Case 2 is giving us one more possibility, right? Case 2 is giving us one more possibility. If you take Q here, dash dash X is possible without any doubt. If you take Q here, dash dash X is also possible. So maybe if you want, you can take the third case if you want to keep it simple, right? Otherwise, read the statements again, maybe something will come out. Let us try and fix this point. I think before implementing Q dash dash X in case 2, let us use this point also. Some relevant information available here. We know that it should be B dash dash C, where C likes black color, right? B dash dash C, where C likes black color. And B and C both are in top row, right? So fix it. Can B come here? B dash dash C, not possible because this is a vacant seat, right? I'm trying to fix this. B dash dash C and C likes black color. So B dash dash C, not possible. B cannot come here because it is already D. B dash dash C. I think the only possibility is B has to come here, dash dash C, and C likes black color. Try to fix this in the second case now. B dash dash C, possible. Can you take here B dash dash C? Not possible. So I think this point can be fixed in both the cases. In case 1 we have already fixed it. Let's fix in case 2 as well. B dash dash C with C black color is possible. If you take B here in this position, what happens? Dash dash C, but this is a vacant seat. We have already marked it. So clearly it is B dash dash C and C likes black color. Yes or no? C likes black color. Now maybe it will help us. R does not like red and grey color. Where will R come? This point is not useful. If you see, R does not, sorry, this point I would like to highlight. The 16 point is not needed at all. It says R does not like red and grey color. We already know that R likes pink color. So what information is it giving us? It is of no use. Alright, so R does not like red and grey color is not useful. Right? So I think this pictorial representation we have used. Only thing is Q dash dash X has to be tried here. Q dash dash X, Q dash dash X, both are possible. So let us do the second reading. So what we have done so far is one reading of all the 16 points, right? And we have filled so much. Let us do the second reading. All these points which were not used will now be helpful. So I think first point we have already used. So forget about that. Second point is anyway marked here, Q dash dash X. Third point, Q does not like purple and pink color. Q does not like purple and pink color. Okay, not very useful immediately. E is not an immediate neighbor of C. This will help us. E is not an immediate neighbor of C. Try this now. E is not an immediate neighbor of C. C. What happens? E is not an immediate neighbor of C. You know that E will come in row 1. Now the point says E should not be a neighbor of C. So E cannot come here in this position. E cannot come in this position as well. So where should E go? There is no place available for E here according to case 2, which means case 2 is wrong. Are you able to follow? We clearly know that one of these two cases is wrong. Now we have come to a conclusion that case 2 would be wrong because the point says E is not an immediate neighbor of C. If E is not a neighbor of C, there is no place available for E at all. So case 2 is eliminated. Now go for case 1. Definitely case 1 is correct. E is not an immediate neighbor of C. So E cannot come here. So obviously E has to come here. Right? And only one seat is left out. Who is that person? A, B, C, D, E, right? So B, C, D, E are marked. A would come here. Alright. Now read the next point. B likes yellow color. B likes yellow color. Now we will work only on case 1. Right? B likes yellow color. Okay. The one who likes pink color faces the one who likes grey color. This also is useful now. The one who likes pink color faces the one who likes grey color. Who likes pink color? R likes pink color. He faces the one who likes grey color. So D likes grey color. Right? Then, so I think point 4 is used. Point 5 is used. Point 6 also we have already used. Point 7. C is not an immediate neighbor of D. Now see, point 7 also, although we have not used it so far, it's not needed for us. Why? We have already established that C is not an immediate neighbor of D. Right? This point is of no use to us. C is not an immediate neighbor of D. So what I'm trying to tell you here is, even without using point 7 and point 16, we were able to complete the arrangement. Read the next point. T, who likes neither purple color nor white color, does not face the vacant seat. This will help us. T does not face vacant seat. So T will not face the vacant seat. T cannot come here. So T has to come here. Who is the only person left out now? Q, R, S, T. P is left out. P comes here. And remember, T does not like purple or white color. T will not like purple or white color. Anything else that is left out? Vacant seats are not opposite to each other has been used. Neither S nor R. D faces R has been used. Point 11 has been used. Point 12 has also been used. Point 13. The persons who like red and grey color are adjacent to each other. The person who likes red and grey color are adjacent to each other. Now I think grey color is already marked. Now red and grey should be adjacent. So one side of grey is yellow here, the other side should be red. So E likes red color. E likes red color. So this point is very useful then. Vacant seat of row 1 is not an immediate neighbor of D has been used. Q sits at one of the extreme ends has been used. So see, the row 1 is complete. E, D, B, vacant seat AC, and colors are also marked. Red, grey, yellow, dash of course, and then violet and black. Now go to row 2. In row 2 also persons has been marked. Only colors are pending. So what do we know? I think one point that we know is T does not like, somewhere it was given, right? T likes neither purple nor white color. T does not like purple or white. And we also that we know that Q also does not like purple. So if Q does not like purple, Q does not like purple, T does not like purple, then P has to like purple. There is no choice. Okay. We know that T does not like white color also. T does not like purple, T does not like white. So if T does not like white, it is obvious that Q would like white color. Now I think there is only one color left out which goes for T. Which is that color? Red has been marked. Green has not been marked, right? So green has to go for T. Pink is for R. Blue is for S. Purple has been marked for P. White has been marked for Q. Black is for C. Grey is for D. Violet is for A. Yellow is for B. So the only color left, green, should go for T. Green color is for T. And this completes the arrangement. Alright. So 12 seats in 2 rows. In row 1 we have E, D, B, vacant seat AC. In row 2 we have T, R, vacant seat P, S, Q. Colors again are red, grey, yellow, violet, black. Here we have green, pink, purple, blue, white. Now let's quickly run through the questions that have been asked, right? I'll just clear this data here. I mean, questions are covered with all this. Yeah, so read the first question. Who sits second to the right of the one who faces vacant seat of row 2? Answer. There's nothing complex about it. Just read the data and answer the questions. Yeah. So what's the question here? Who sits second to the right of the one who faces vacant seat of row 2? Now who faces vacant seat of row 2? Vacant seat of row 2 is faced by B. Now second to the right of B. Remember, B is facing south. So right of B will be towards our left. So who faces second to the right of, who is second to the right of B? E. Answer should be E, which is option D. Which of the following color does T like? T likes green color, directly available. E is related to vacant seat in row 1 in the same way as T is related to P. So the following the same pattern, vacant seat of row 2 is related to which of the following? So there is some logic between the persons given here in question. Based on that logic, we have to mark the answer. What does it say? E is related to vacant seat of row 1. E is related to vacant seat of row 1. So E dash dash X. In the same way as T is related to P. T dash dash P. So I think the idea is this. Between E and vacant seat, there are two persons. Between T and P also, there are two persons. So in the same pattern, vacant seat of row 2 is related to which of the following? Vacant seat of row 2 is X this here. Dash dash Q. So Q should be the answer. You getting it? Idea is there are two persons between the given pairs. So Q should be the answer. Let us look at the other two questions here. Two more questions here. Then who sits diagonally opposite to the one who likes white color? Diagonally opposite of white color. Now who likes white color? Q. Diagonally opposite of Q is E. Right? Diagonally opposite is E. So option D would be the answer. And the last one here is which of the following is true regarding P? What is true regarding P? P sits second to the right of T. Is it second to the right of T? No, it is third to the right of T. P is not an immediate neighbor of S. No, P is an immediate neighbor of S. P sits third to the left of R. P sits third to the left of R? No, second to the left of R. P sits at one of the extreme ends of the line? No, P does not sit at the extreme end of the line. P faces vacant seat of row 1? Yes, P faces vacant seat of row 1. So option E would be the answer. And with this, we come to the end of this arrangement. Now, what do you understand from this? Point number one. Do not think that it would take so much of time that we have spent here, right? I was not solving the question. I was explaining how to solve it, explaining you how to solve these questions. So obviously it will take longer, right? I was, going in every detail, reading every point, explaining that point, and then trying to use it. So it's obvious that when I do it myself, I'll be very quick, right? And I'm sure the same applies to you as well, right? When you do it for yourself, you'll be much faster. You'll not be spending so much of time. So point number one is that don't misunderstand that it actually takes so much of time. It'll take lesser than what we have spent here. Point number two, although it takes lesser than what we have spent here, it's not worth trying it out, because from your own experience, I know that most of you were able to complete this. You just check yourself. How much time did you spend? Easily about 7-8 minutes. Yes or no? It will be great if you mention how much time you have spent. Many of you were able to crack it, right? So how much time did you take? Sure, about 7 to 8 minutes, not less than that. And you decide yourself, is it worth spending 7-8 minutes for getting 5 marks? No. Anshu Maheshwari says 6.5 minutes. So 6.5 minutes in my view is not worth it, right? I mean, not worth it when there are other independent questions still unanswered. After you have solved all the independent questions of your section, reasoning section, then spending 6.5 minutes on this question makes sense, because only thing remaining in this section now is all complex questions. So you have to take some, bet, choose one of these questions and try it out. So if it has taken 6.5 minutes, it's worth it. After you have solved all the other independent questions. But 8, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 to 8 minutes and all makes no sense. Again, makes no sense when there are questions from syllogisms, directions, blood relations, alphabet, element series, coded inequalities, coding and decoding pending, right? So first solve all those questions which takes lesser time and then come back to these ones. I had actually one more question with me, but I don't think we have any time left. In fact, we are behind by 10 minutes. So I'd like to close it here, but I think a very important takeaway from this session should be that you have to skip complex arrangement question in the exam, whether it's a complex linear arrangement or a complex circular arrangement. So skip it the moment you see it. Solve the other questions and then come back, right? Mark these questions for review. At the end of the exam, when you're done with all the remaining part of the paper, come back. And if there are multiple questions from this topic, multiple complex arrangements given, choose one of those. How do you choose? From your own experience of having solved these kind of questions during the practice. Okay, and again, that is why practicing it is important, right? Some people actually ask me this question, that when we anyway have to skip it in the exam, why are we doing it? Because only when you practice these questions now, you will be able to choose one out of those 3-4 questions in the exam, right? Or by any chance, let's say tomorrow when you go for IBPS PO prelims exam, all the 35 are complex arrangement, then what do? You cannot be skipping everything and sit there, right? So then it comes very handy. So keep practicing, and with every question that you solve, you should feel better, right? I mean, when with every question that you solve yourself, you should definitely feel better. All right. But anyway, the focus is to skip it in the exam. All right. So that's about it. Thank you all for participating in this session. I wish, sorry about this bad throat. I wish I could solve more questions for you, but don't worry. We'll meet again in these free live sessions, and next time when we meet, we'll try and take something from complex circular arrangements, right? Till then, keep practicing and take very good care of yourselves. And if you would like to explore more about our program or online videos, right? There are about 466 videos only on all these topics of quant, reasoning, English, general awareness, which will help you get fully ready for these exams. And then there are live sessions and mock tests. So if you'd like to explore about our programs, please visit our website, which is talentsprint.com/bank, or you can also call our toll-free number 1-800-102-9006. Of course, the details are available on the same page. You can just scroll down and find the other details there and get started, right? See, whether you enroll for our full program or not, or the premium program or not, remember, start your preparation now, because the early you start, the better are your chances. So if you're still looking for a program, still not sure about which coaching to join, which center to join, should we go online or classroom, I think you should make up your mind very soon, right? You cannot be delaying it anymore. So be quick. That's the whole idea. Thank you once again. See you all in the next session. Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to this live session on data interpretation for IBPS exams brought to you by TalentSprint.